All right, guys, I'm back, and we're going to finish out this chapter 1, and I will upload some demos also, but probably just in a day or so before I get that done. We're in the process of looking at our rulers. These are, again, as I mentioned earlier, are positioned at the top in the left-hand corner of your artboard, and rulers and all other measurement utilities in the document can display a number of different measurement options. If you go up to your ruler and do a command or a control, actually it's a control or a right click. A control click if you're on a Mac, or right click if you're on a PC, right on the ruler, and that will show you which of the options that you have available to you for measurement. And again, in order to access a ruler line to set it up on your artboard for alignment purposes, you just click drag and drop. All right, and you determine the units with which you want to work in the preferences box. And again, I just showed you how to do it on the ruler bar, but you can also go up under Illustrator and Preferences if you are on a Mac, or Edit and Preferences if you are on a PC, and that will give you the option to change your units of measurement as well. Here, where are we? In addition to these ruler guides, Illustrator offers a document grid for precise alignment. With the snap options on, objects that you move around the page automatically align themselves with the guides or with the grid that they come in contact with. So again, if you would wanted to look at the grid, and we'll just start with a regular grid. And then we are going to do the snap to. Grid, and then I'm going to click and drag a rectangle, and you can see what happens immediately is it snaps right to that grid, and if I try to move it, it will, well, where'd it go here? Here it is. You can move it, but again, it will snap to the grid based on the snap to grid option being checked. All objects that you create have a visible selection mark or selection edges, and when an object is selected, you see what it looks like when the object is selected. They automatically highlight, showing the anchor points. While you're designing your illustration, you might want to work with selection marks hidden so that all you see is the artwork, and you can do that. Again, it's just an option that you choose in your menu bar. Now the following figure is going to show a complex illustration with selection marks visible and then hidden, so you can tell the difference between the two. Again, the artwork is selected for both of them, but in one the selection are not shown and are showing, and on the other one they're not. I'm going to zoom in so you can see it a little bit. So you see this little blue line in these anchor points. That indicates that the selection is that's selected, and the selection marks are showing. And on this one it's selected as well, but the selection marks obviously aren't showing. Screen modes are options for viewing your documents. At the bottom of the toolbox you'll see two basic screen, oh no, this is on a menu item actually, preview and outline. I am going to click on this and I'm going to add a color to it, and then I'm going to show you the difference between preview and outline. All right, we're currently under view and we are in preview. That's why outline is showing. So I'm going to click on outline, and you'll see the difference in the way the artboard looks. It's just basically showing you the outline of the objects that are on the artboard. In the preview mode, you obviously see all of your objects with the fills, like the fill color here and strokes applied, and whatever other effects that you might have applied as well. Outline mode, as you saw, displays all of your objects only as hollow shapes with no fill or strokes. It can sometimes be helpful for selecting various objects that are positioned close together. It can also make it easier if you've got a very complex illustration. If you leave outline on, if you can work just in outline mode, it moves it a little bit more quickly as it's processing some of the changes that you're making. And that's the artwork in an outline mode. All Adobe products, as most other software products, come loaded with preferences. There's specifications you can set for how certain features of the application behave. And you'll see again in Illustrator, remember, if you're in a Mac, preferences are underneath Illustrator. If you're on a PC, you'll go under Edit to find preferences. On many occasions, you'll find yourself working with multiple open documents. I do that all the time. You can switch from one to the other simply by clicking on the title bar of each document at the top. Illustrator offers a preference for having multiple open documents available as tabs in the document window, and that's typically what I do. With this preference selected, a tab will appear for each open document, and I think this shows you. No, I thought it did show you that, but this indicates in the user interface preferences, that's where you're going to dictate that, whether or not you want to open documents to appear as tabs. The most commonly used commands in Illustrator list a shortcut key beside the command name. The shortcut keys are useful for quickly accessing commands without stopping to work to go to the menu. If you look here, you'll see, let's see, here all of these over to the right show the quick key for you, or the quick key command that you can access. So for example, I want to copy that. The quick key would be Command C, and the quick key for pasting it would be Command V or Control. Or you see it happens much more quickly than if I had to go to the menu bar to make that happen. Individual pieces of artwork that you create in Illustrator, such as squares, text, or lines, are called objects, such as this. When you select an object, its path and anchor points become highlighted, and you can see that in this instance. And you'll see it in their figure as well. And you have many options for changing the size and shape of an object. One of your most straightforward options is to use the bounding box that's around the object. You can select any object or multiple objects, and then just click and drag. Make sure you show bounding box on the view panel. On the view menu. And this says hide bounding box because I have mine already shown. And you'll see that 8 handles appear around the selected artwork or object as seen in the following figure, and you can see that on my screen as well. When you select multiple objects, a single bounding box appears around all of the selected work. So if I were to select both of these objects, I could click and drag with the selection tool, and you'll see that this has a single bounding box that encompasses both of those objects, or 100 objects if that's the way I would have if I had that many objects on my desktop. Manipulating the bounding box will affect all of the objects, so if I were to come over here and click and drag, you'll see that that affects both of the objects that I have selected. Well, I don't know where I went, but I went totally past where we were. So I am going to, again, I think I've probably gotten pretty close to the 15 minutes mark on this. And you can see we still have a lot of information to cover. I will be back and we will finish up this probably in another 10 or 15. No, I want to say in another half an hour. But I will see you back here then.